Hey kids, welcome to Unit 2, Lesson 10, Scope in This, exercise number 2. We have a choose your own adventure, kids, but honestly, all four of these have a very similar answer. What that really means is no matter which ones you choose, the answer is going to be very similar, just with slightly different variable names. I'm going to keep with my theme of B and do the food truck class. Let's jump into the directions. The food truck class represents a single food truck that is part of the Project Mercury Pastries food truck business. Getting started, import the dessert.java from the backpack. Don't have it, you can always get it from here. Ours is already imported. Make sure you take a look and it is the one that you did last. It is for us. After that, complete the parameterized constructor. Use the this keyword to initialize the instance variables to the value passed to the parameter. Then we're going to complete the set profit method. Use the this keyword to set the profit instance variable to the value passed to the parameter. And once you understand what this does, this is a pretty simple lesson. And this goes back to that scope vocabulary where we had in exercise 1. If you look at this graphic, you can see that variables can have a wide range of scope. As you can see, we can have a scope within the class, the method, and even within a block within that method. This means sometimes there can be confusion, and that's where this keyword comes into play. The this keyword refers to the current object in a method or constructor. The most common use of this is to eliminate confusion between class attributes and the parameters with the same name. And really the best way to do this is actually to show it. I have a little example program I wrote here. It has one class test, and all that does is stores an integer, which is 0, and then it also has a method that takes one parameter, x, and then x is just going to be set to x. Now here is where this keyword comes into play. When we call x, are we referring to the parameterized constructor, or are we referring to the initial variable? And kids, Java, well, it's a lot like me. It means well, it tries well, but it makes a lot of mistakes. And this is where it can make a mistake. So let's see this play out in real time. Over here, I set a new value to my object of 5. So x equals 5 now. When I print, let's see what I get. I get a 0. Java's saying, hey, you set x to 0. That's what I'm calling here. Well, that's the right answer. But here, we definitely made an object, and its value is 5, and that's set to x. And it just gets confused because it's the same variable name. How do we fix that? Well, that's where this keyword comes into play. It's like saying, hey buddy, use this one right here. That means if I just put this.x, whenever I call x, I'm just saying, hey, well, look at this x, not this one. Well, let's run it again. Now we get the 5 of the object. So again, this is a very specific case that comes in when we use the same variable names. Even if you don't use the same variable names, it could come out of class or something you do by mistake. So we use this keyword to head off any problems we might have. With that understanding, let's go ahead and complete number 2. Let's take a look at our code first. We have public class food truck, 3 private instance variables, owner, new dessert, profit. We have one parameterized constructor. It has 3 parameters, owner, new dessert, and profit from above. And it looks like this is where we're going to use this keyword at. We have our get method, which is returning owner, get method, which is getting dessert, get profit, getting our profit, And then it looks like we have a set method for profit. Then it looks like we're going to write this keyword to initialize the profit instance variable to the value passed to the parameter. So we got something to do down here as well. Then we have our toString method, which is returning our owner, dessert, and profits. Here is where we have to do two. We have to use this keyword to initialize the instance variables to the value passed to the parameters. That means we're going to use the same parameters as our instance variable. And we just want it to refer to the parameterized constructors, not the instance variables. Well, how do we do that? We're going to use this keyword, then we use the dot operator, and then what is the variable we want to refer to? Well, the first one is owner, so we're going to write owner. And that's going to be equal to the owner that we get passed. Now all we do is rinse and repeat, kids. This new dessert is going to be equal to new dessert. And then finally, this profit is going to refer to the profit that is being passed in this parameterized constructor. And that's it, kids. Looking back at my console here, it looks like we're going to set the profits, and we need to write that set method before we can really test it. So before I hit run, I'm going to go back here and we're going to complete the set profit method. And kids, this isn't very different from what we just did above. If we are going to set our profit, we want to get that profit we just set, right? We don't want to get the one that is stored from above. And that means all we have to do is set our private instance variable equal to this one. So this dot profit is equal to profit. Now when I run, we should get Brittany, my dessert, which is pointing up here, which should be chocolate $2.99. And then we should get 1,280. Then we're going to reset our profit. And next time it prints off, it's going to print off this 1,525 instead of the 1,280. Let's see if I'm right, kids. And there you go. You see this time around, we changed the profit and it pointed to that location. So we printed off this variable from that object instead of the other one. Key takeaways from this lesson is understanding this idea of scope and how to work within it within your program. Again, I want you to think back of this very simple example, because when we get more complex, it doesn't change anything. It is still the same thing. Remember, we use this to refer to the method we created, not the instance variables there. Hopefully this video helped you understand this keyword. As always, kids, if you have any questions, come see me. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. See you later, kids. Bye, bye, bye.